Football is funny, isn't it? One day you're making headlines, another day you're an overrated flop that no one watches anymore. So, from Eden Hazard to Marco Verratti, let's look at 12 football players who vanished last season. Starting at number 1 is Philippe Coutinho. Man, we all remember Coutinho's magic at Liverpool. He was dropping jaws with every long-range screamer, right? But since leaving Anfield, it felt like he's gone from the spotlight into the shadows. His big money move to Barcelona in 2018 didn't work out, and it was one loan after another. Bayern, then Aston Villa. Now he's at Vasco da Gama back in Brazil, on loan from Villa. Coutinho's been playing as an attacking midfielder or winger, but he's not been anywhere near that little magician level he showed in the Premier League. Injuries have held him back, and stats-wise, it's been quiet. In his last season, he only managed 1 goal in 918 minutes before heading to Vasco. It's like the spark is gone and he's just trying to find his groove again. For a player once priced at over 140 million euros, that's actually a bit of a letdown if we're being honest. But maybe he'll get back to something similar to that Liverpool form as time goes on. Next is Chelsea's Eden Hazard. 2. Eden Hazard. Remember when Eden Hazard was the king of Stamford Bridge and the way this guy used to dribble like it was nobody's business? Well, if you remember, I'm sure you also know he left the Blues for Real Madrid. And what a sad day it was for Chelsea fans. They were heartbroken when he left. But going to Real Madrid turned out to be a nightmare for him. Injuries plagued him every season, and he never really hit top form in Spain. At one point, he was the most exciting player to watch, but at Real, he just couldn't get it together. After being dropped from the squad, Hazard just decided to call it quits on his career instead of moving to Inter Miami, even though they offered him a shot. This was someone who used to torment the Premier League defenders, but now he's hung up his boots. And that leaves us to wonder what might have been if he'd stayed fit. It's just like he faded out from being Chelsea's superstar to barely being seen on the pitch in Madrid and in football in total. A sad end for a player we all thought would light up La Liga. Let's talk about another dribbler, and that's Neymar. 3. Neymar. Neymar's always been a showman, right? From his early days at Santos to that killer trio with Messi and Suarez at Barcelona. Neymar was box office. After PSG, the Brazilian star shocked fans by joining Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. On paper, it sounds flashy, but the truth is he's mostly been injured. Still, he's managed to pick up more trophies than Ronaldo, who's at Al Nassr, which feels ironic because Neymar hasn't even had enough game time. Nothing is going to change the fact that he's still a wizard on the ball, but those injuries are no joke, and they've started adding up. Even though he's not in Europe anymore, you'd think he'd still be making headlines, but so far, it's been pretty quiet. The talent is still there, but the spark? Maybe not as bright as before. I guess time will tell if he gets back into form, or if this is just the start of his decline. Next is Jesse Lingard. Lingardinho, anyone? Yeah, back in the day, Jesse Lingard was United's homegrown wonder, hitting insane goals and doing wild celebrations. But after leaving Manchester United, it was like this dude vanished. He had a decent spell at West Ham on loan, but his move to Nottingham Forest didn't go as planned. He barely even made an impact there, and it was pretty clear he was no longer the player he used to be. Now he's playing in South Korea with FC Seoul, which came as a surprise to a lot of fans. He's still playing as an attacking midfielder or winger, but it's definitely a different vibe compared to the Premier League. The hype's faded, and while he might still have some magic left, he's mostly off the radar now. What a shame, man. He was one of England's promising stars, and he could have been shining now, but it is what it is. On to the 5th player. 5. Isco. Isco was that guy at Real Madrid who'd dribble past 3 players and leave them in the dust. This guy was a pure artist on the field. Really, really insane. But as time went on, his form dropped, and he became more of a bench warmer. After leaving Madrid, he had a short stint at Sevilla, which didn't go too well either. Now he's at Real Betis, trying to reignite his career. So far, he's been playing under the radar. No standout performances, no flashy moments like the old days. He's still got the skill, playing in midfield, but he's not the same Isco who is part of Real Madrid's dominant Champions League squad. It feels like he's just coasting through matches these days. And don't get me wrong, although Betis is a good club, it's not the kind of place you'd expect Isco to be at his peak. Now, let's talk about another Spaniard, Mata. 6. Juan Mata. Juan Mata was so good at Chelsea, wasn't he? Man, he was something else back in the day, linking up players, dribbling past defenders, and dishing out assists like it was easy. He even helped set up Drogba's famous goal in the 2012 Champions League final against Bayern. Mata had back-to-back Player of the Year awards at Chelsea and was a fan favourite before his move to Manchester United. Now, fast forward to the present, and Mata's career took a bit of a turn. But is that really a surprise though? I mean, besides Ronaldo and Messi and maybe Modric, how many players can maintain that level of greatness for so long? Anyway, Mata is currently playing in Australia with a club called Western Sydney Wanderers. It's different, sure, but he's bringing his experience to the A-League, still trying to make an impact, especially among the younger players. Mata's game has slowed down, and he isn't putting up the same numbers, but fans still get flashes of that old brilliance every now and then. He's still got that magic touch when the ball's at his feet, even if he's playing in a whole different world now. I guess you can't just deny greatness. The next player is Marco Verratti. 7. Marco Verratti. Marco Verratti. This guy was the heart of PSG's midfield, but now, well, my man's off playing in the Qatar Stars League with Al Arabi. Kinda wild, right? I mean, he's only 30, and it felt like he could still be bossing midfield battles in Europe. At PSG, he was crucial, keeping things tight and classy in the middle of the park, tackling hard, controlling the tempo, and feeding forwards like Mbappe and Neymar. Verratti had won several Ligue 1 titles with PSG, becoming a fan favourite for his dedication and skill, but PSG decided to shake things up, and Marco found himself with a chance to earn some serious cash in Qatar. The pace and quality of the league are way different, so he isn't exactly being challenged like he was in Europe. It's a more relaxed gig now though, and he's still got that football IQ, but it feels like he could have given a few more years of top tier football, you know? Number 8 is Arturo Vidal. 8. Arturo Vidal. Arturo Vidal was a monster anywhere he went, from Juventus to Bayern to Barcelona. The dude never backed down from a challenge. These days though, he's playing back home in Chile with Colo-Colo. It's kind of a full circle for him. Vidal's game was all about aggression, tackles, and driving his team forward with pure intensity. He was a winner through and through, helping teams lift trophies all over Europe. But now at Colo-Colo, he's in a different role, more of a mentor, less of a star. Injuries have slowed him down a bit, but he's still got that fire, and he's passing on his mentality to younger players in the Chilean league. He's with the national team as well, so the fans back home are happy to have their guy around. It's not the spotlight of Europe, but Vidal's still grinding it out on the pitch, showing that age is just a number if you've got heart. Next is Ozil. 9. Mesut Ozil. Ozil was the assist king, the guy with eyes in the back of his head. Remember his days at Real Madrid and then Arsenal? It felt like he could split any defense with one pass. But after some ups and downs, he ended up in Turkey with Istanbul Başakşehir, and it just didn't click the same way. Ozil retired in 2023, partly because injuries kept bugging him. He didn't have that old spark, and he wasn't bossing games like he used to. With 427 top-flight games in his career, people still remember him for being a creative freak of nature. But those last few years weren't easy. No wonder my man decided to retire quietly, and now it's like he's faded out of the limelight. No doubt, Ozil's career had some legendary highs, and of course, it may not have ended with a bang, but fans won't forget those magical passes anytime soon. He was truly one of a kind, but football's taken him in a different direction now. On to his next chapter off the pitch. Number 10. 10. Santi Cazorla. Santi Cazorla was a pure joy to watch. He was skillful with both feet, just an unreal player, right? He played for Arsenal and was just insane for them with his passing and dribbling, just next level stuff. But Cazorla's time at Arsenal got cut short by those terrible injuries. But he bounced back and had a decent run at Villarreal before deciding to spend the rest of his career winding at Real Oviedo in Spain's Segundo Division. It's a lower league than what he's used to, but Santi still got that magic in him, especially when he's on the ball. Because of him, Real Oviedo are still competitive in their league, and their fans still love him. He's having fun out there, giving the crowd a taste of his peak days every now and then. It's a relaxed gig compared to his Premier League days, but Cazorla, he's still enjoying himself. Next is Diego Costa, a former Chelsea striker. 11. Diego Costa. If you wanted a striker that would give defenders nightmares, then Diego Costa was your man. Back at Chelsea, he was fierce, aggressive, and had that killer instinct in front of goal. He was the guy you wanted on your team but hated to play against. Costa helped Chelsea win 2 Premier League titles and was very physical and always scored clutch goals for Chelsea. But where is he now though? Well, he's out of Europe altogether, playing as a striker for Grêmio in Brazil's Serie A. It's a much different scene, and while he still brings that fight to the pitch, it's clear that age and injuries have slowed him down a bit. No matter what though, he's a figure that will be remembered by many football fans, especially Chelsea fans. 12. Thiago Alcantara. Thiago Alcantara, absolute legend, right? His passing game was insane. It was almost like he had a cheat code on the field, but last season he just disappeared. Injuries hit him so hard that he only played 1 match for Liverpool. Imagine being one of the best, and then you're barely on the pitch. It's like he went from being a public star to almost being forgotten. By the end of the season, he decided to retire at 33. Seems like only 5 minutes ago he scored that absolute screamer against Porto for Liverpool. That technique was unbelievable. Crazy how fast things changed for him, but no doubt he'll always be remembered as one of the best to play the game. And that's it guys, 12 footballers that vanished last season. Which of them was your favourite player during their peak? Let me know in the comments section below. And if you want more content like this, just click that like or the subscribe button. Bye for now.